West Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District is called to order on June 2nd, 2016. Invocation, if you don't mind bowing our heads. Dear Lord, I ask you to bless this great state, this great parish, and all the decisions we make today on best behalf of the West Ascension Drainage. Oh Lord, look out after all our armed forces servicemen and women, and we pray that this great nation. Thank you. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Everyone is present. Except Mr. Bill Rue. I guess that's a new addition to our drainage. I guess I moves.
Yeah, he's going to be working with us on the West Bank and for drainage and for DPW purposes.
All right. So item number 3, accepting the minutes of May 5th of 2006.
Move.
I second that. No objection. Approved. Moving on to Jews Drive, Mr.
Oh, really?
Oh, all right. Well. All right, thank you. Jews Drive, Mr. Thomas Pierce.
Yeah, Julie Drive, that was one of our projects. Mr. Craig Anderson has our crews out there, and they're working that right now. So that's in progress right now.
All right. And that's looking good. All right. Moving on to item 5, Lemonville Cutoff Bridge.
Okay, Lemonville Cutoff Bridge. They are working on that. That's in progress also. Just for y'all information, they have over 5,000 boats that they have to put that bridge together. And they estimate anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. And once that's finished, then they'll have to, we'll have to get a crane to put it in the canal. Oh, we'll have to take the bridge up first and put the box culverts in there and get all utility relocation and all that. And then that one will be finished. Now, I know a question may
How long is that road gonna be out?
I knew that question may come up, and
That's a big question.
3 to 4 weeks to put the bridge together, and when they drop it in there, with the utility relocation, I'm not don't hold me to anything. That might be another couple weeks, you know.
Well, you don't need to have it out of service while you're putting a culvert together.
No, right. we don't. We're putting the culvert together right now on the land, right past St. Jude Canal on the right-hand side, right before you get to the bridge, before you get to the jail coming from 3120. It's right on the right-hand side. They're putting it together right now. They cleared a spot to do that.
Was bridge crews doing that, or we are doing that?
Well, Mr. Anderson in conjunction with the other crew
that did it before.
That
Okay.
puts down the bridges.
Yeah,
All right.
they did it before. They're doing it from a crew across the river doing it.
Okay,
Right.
great. All right. All right. Item number 6, a culvert for Bayou Napoleon. That was Bill Rue, and just to give you up to date on that, this is in Bayou Napoleon, crossing Ascension Parish into Assumption Parish. Basically, it's like the bottom line, and that was a crossing that one of the farmer requests for. He had a big old cover. We was hoping that Mr. Bill Rue come in give us an engineer report on based on that cover will fit and meet the maximum, cover side on there from an engineer point of view, but he's not here. I would like to table this to next month, so I would not go ahead and approve this unless, we get a report from that point of view. Cause I do have some concerns and questions, and I would like him to address those items on that.
Move to postpone.
Okay, got move to postpone, I second that, move forward. All right, item number 7, Corwin, Lemonville Cutoff Road, St. Jude's Canal. Mr. Dawson?
Well, you've got my name on that, but, you
Okay,
know, somebody give me a status.
Yes, that, as soon as the bridge, the Lemonville Cutoff Bridge is completed, then we're gonna move to that St. Jude Canal. We've ordered the culverts,
Do you know the delivery on
they
that?
delivered, they have it, we have it at the bone.
Oh, they
We're
do
ready
got
to
it?
go with that,
Okay.
we're ready to go with that. But we're gonna do the big bridge first, and then we're gonna drop them other culverts right after that.
Sound good?
Well, is the road, so, while you have the road out, you're gonna do both of those together? Is that right? Or you have to do them
Yeah, but
sequentially? or-
They're gonna have to schedule that with the crew across the river, cause they're gonna do it, so I don't know how if they gonna have it out, both out at the same time or what.
Well, I mean, if we could, wouldn't it be better to have the road out and you do them both while the road's out?
We couldn't get in there, so I talked to the foreman the other day, and he's gonna do the bridge first, and then do the, St. Jude right after that. Cause if you did them both at the same time, you couldn't get, it would be a little bit more difficult to do that.
Cause they got a client in
And
between.
another crew
They got,
at the same time,
We couldn't get to the other side.
right.
yeah, they got a business in that area too, just to think about it, so. But I guess y'all will get with Bill Rue and see where his crew is or whatever.
But that's, when I talked to the foreman, as soon as they put the big bridge down, they come in with the other one right behind it. So it shouldn't be very long at all.
All right, Tim, good?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to item number 8, Highway 1 Bun Hood subdivision drainage. And you got me down here, but Mr. Pierce, I'm pretty sure this is Mr. Chuck Long's situation, and I
Yeah,
know you've been working on that.
Craig and I visited Mr. Long this week, and I think it was maybe yesterday or the day before. And we assessed the area where his drainage, we went through the entire area right there. We went back into his residence and looked at his drainage catch basins and his culverts and stuff. And we went around to the back of another property around the curve as you go into there off of Bunn Street onto Hood Street. And we assessed that situation, and I put a work order in. We put a work order in to get some elevations with our surveying personnel, and they will come out and survey it. And in addition to that, I called the state of Louisiana DOTD, and I will meet with him at 1:30 Monday. I've had Miss Peggy call Mr. Long's office to let him know to be out there at 1:30 so he can be on the scene to hear the DOTD personnel talk about the culvert across Bun Hood, which is on a state highway. That's not our jurisdiction. So the LA DOTD is gonna assess that, and we're gonna be out there Monday at 1:30. So if y'all in the area and y'all wanna join us, you can welcome to be.
Does that generally drain away from Bayou Lafourche, or into Bayou Lafourche?
Into a canal just about from here to maybe the street, and then it goes, and that canal goes into Bayou ultimately. It's just a short distance.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you for that update, Mr. Pierce. Item number 9, St. James Ascension drainage situation update.
I talked to President Timmy Roussel today from St. James Parish, and they are still waiting on the permit from the Corps of Engineers. And I also talked to him about Mr. Joseph, you and I, Mr. Dawson, at the convention. We had an opportunity to talk to some Lafourche Parish council members, and we talked about them opening up an area in Lafourche Parish that goes right into Lake des Allemands, where all of this drains from Bayou Verret, Bayou Napoleon, St. James Canal into Lake des Allemands. And I talked to him about that, and to set up a meeting with Lafourche Parish. And I will be meeting with him next week, and to try to schedule a date with Lafourche Parish. And when that happens, I'll give you all a call in case y'all want to make that meeting with Lafourche also.
Great.
All right. If you don't mind, Mr. Dawson, we can move back. I see Mr. Bill Rue is in here, so we can ask a couple of questions on that. We're going to return to item number 6, and that's cover for Bayou Napoleon. Mr. Rue, I know the landowner had a cover to put into Bayou Napoleon. Myself questioned that size of it and the restriction of flow of water through Bayou Napoleon. I prefer a bridge, but I know you met with the landowner, and we were just looking for your evaluation on that or engineer input on which is best. So.
Yes, sir, Councilman. What we did do was an evaluation of the capacity of the culvert going, that he wanted to put in there. And it's 9-foot diameter, and which is more than adequate for the flow. We did an engineering analysis of it. In addition to that, the way we're going to put it in, we actually got to have an overflow capacity. So it actually, if it ever gets to the point of reaching the top of the culvert, it'll actually overflow before overflowing the property surrounding the culvert. So it'll be a weird type situation at that point. So it'll safeguard the surrounding property. The other part is going with our policy and the policy of the board. The property owner is contributing all expenses, except for the labor and equipment, which we will provide. So it's a cooperative endeavor agreement between the landowner and us, which is the policy, and it's a good project. We don't see any problem with it.
All right. I just
Schedule on that.
Huh?
You had schedule? Do you know the schedule on that?
Right now, I don't know what's happening. Right now, we are this type of project. We have just several crews that has the ability to go through and do this type of work, and our crews are tied up on some major projects. And soon as it breaks free of a couple of projects, we'll be able to schedule it. I'm thinking that depending on the weather, between 60 and 90 days is what it looks like right now.
Is that to start it or complete it?
Probably to get started, but I don't see much of a problem in placing the culvert within a week's time. Now, the other part of the project, the owner is requesting us some type of bulkhead or head wall be placed there. Of course, he's going to pay for all material. Now, if that's the case, we'll have it in place and be able to cross it while we're doing the head wall on it. But that will be determined at the time we place it. He may back off, and if may go with just riprap, and if that's the case, it's not a major time-consuming effort. If you go with the head wall, he'll supply the material to do it, and we'll install it. That'll take a little bit longer, but it will be functional, at that time before we even start the head wall.
Okay. We had also on the
you got
culvert at Lemonville, Lemonville cutoff road culvert and the St. Jude ditch. Are you familiar
Yes,
with
and
that?
that's the same thing. It is undersized, and it needs to be replaced, and we're evaluating the box covers to go in there.
Well, they
And,
they've ordered a culvert.
They ordered it? Okay. Well, I know we had evaluated, and I know that it was being scheduled for the work. It definitely is undersized and need to be replaced, and we'll be working on it. We may be doing that more or less the same time we're doing the big box, aluminum box. In fact, it's a possibility we may install an aluminum box, have the same crew move over and do this at the same time while they're there and have the equipment there.
So when you're talking about the bridge replacement,
Right.
and do all that at one time?
Well, we got the crew there and everything. We'll have everything delivered, and that'll be a good time to get both done.
You could just
Right, Craig?
move over.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Now, Bill is not involved in Highway 1, Bun Hood.
No, I don't.
No,
No.
and again, Craig and Mr. Pierce is, we're gonna be getting together on all these projects, but right now, Craig and Mr. Pierce is handling that kind of stuff.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
All right, we're gonna move on to item number 10, grass cutting on private property. This, I put this item on this agenda, basic to educate the public of, our policy and procedure on this. I get numerous calls, and, I know Moose and I know Craig, always when their crew is cutting grass, they always saying somebody's house have grass around it. But we have a policy for subdivision. Unfortunately, we don't have any policy in a rural community. And exactly, we have Smoke Bin, A-Bin, Modest, the Bruley. Those community are small community. It was built in a time when it was like a subdivision, but they called them community. And unfortunately, we don't have a policy and procedure for those types of community. And I wanted the attorney to address that issue, why we can't go on private property and the consequences we have if we do.
Under Article 7, Section 14 of the Louisiana Constitution, you cannot spend public money on private property unless it's for public benefit. To do it would be a violation of the Constitution and actually a criminal violation. You can't spend public money on private property. And there's numerous attorney general's opinions that have said that you cannot go spend public money on private property for the benefit of the private property owner. We do have an ordinance, but it's only for regular, approved subdivisions. It does not go into non-approved subdivisions, and I think the purpose of that was because if you have a large tract of land, there's no control over what it would cost to have that thing cut. Because all we can do, we don't cut them ourselves. It's contracted out. And so you couldn't do it individually, Parish, because then you'd be spending public money, and then you also couldn't pay for individuals to do it. And we take bids. So it's, somebody has a big enough tract, it might cost you $20,000 or $30,000 to cut that piece of property. So it's illegal to do it.
Well, I don't understand the difference. If you can cut it in a subdivision, why can't you cut it outside? I mean, if you're doing it for public benefit, because you're not doing it for the property owner's benefit, you're doing it for their neighbors and the community around there.
No, that's not how the court looks at it. That's not how the law.
Well, how can you do that in a subdivision and you can't do it outside a subdivision?
Property is lien, and we passed an ordinance to do it. We don't have an ordinance that says otherwise. You have an ordinance passed in Ascension, Parish, that have a process to cut properties inside subdivisions.
But if you modified or you passed another ordinance, you could do it.
The council rejected it.
Bill, and I tried that twice, and they rejected it. And I'm gonna reintroduce it to strategic planning and hope it get passed there. But it is modified for a rural area, okay? It's specific says if you're in one of those rural communities. We agree that we cannot cut grass for, 10
Large
acres.
landowners,
Right.
I understand that.
Right.
Not a public purpose, that the only person who benefits from you cutting that grass is the private landowner.
You know,
Well, if it's an eyesore, that's not true.
It's not a risk to life and safety.
it's a health hazard.
I still can't understand why you can do it within a subdivision, if it's an illegal act, how can you do it within a subdivision and not without a subdivision?
Lien property. There's a lien placed on the property to collect.
Correct. And if, when you pass this rule ordinance, if you,
Well, you could lien the property and,
correct,
The council elected not to.
okay.
So it's not,
No.
you are not doing it for free. But
No,
it's
I
not
understand.
the cost of doing large tracts.
Yeah,
Because you don't always collect the liens, that's the real issue. If
Well-
there's a preceding mortgage, that's where we run into a lot of problems. There's foreclosure, if you got a $20,000 or $30,000 grass cutting deal, and you got foreclosure, you behind mortgage over, we eat that. And that's a.
yeah. Well, I mean, we do that in my subdivision and hardly ever collect it, honestly, but, I mean, the grass gets cut.
But that's a private homeowners association.
Yeah, that's right.
That's not public money.
No.
I see the parish president. If you don't mind, parish president, that mic right there, sir.
Excuse me. Yes, Councilman. You know, this came up, I don't know how many years ago, not too long ago. And the majority of the parish wants to keep rural. You can't make, so what they did, they made it, when they did that ordinance, they did it for subdivisions only, because everybody agreed on that. Now, you can do it, I don't know, you could even do it in your district if you want. But it's got to be approved by the people, because it's not a law right now. And like they say, we can't go on private property. But if it was a law and they didn't cut it, and we go and cut it, it's going to be under the contract, and we could put it under their tax. But right now, we can't cut anything. Or if we was to use a right-of-way, we'd cut that. But on private property, we can't go on there unless it's for our benefit. Or if you want to pass it in your district or parish-wide, it just got to be voted on.
Correct. And the parish president is correct on that statement right there. So I'm gonna redo it, but I wanted the public to know, because like I say, grass cutting is getting higher. Our grass crew is behind when it rained, and everyone is, anxious. There's animals coming out their neighbors from critters or whatever, and they are calling, and I hate to tell them, we just don't have a law to help them on this private property situation. But I'm getting that phone call very regular. I don't know if Miss Peggy's starting to get it, but I wanted to make sure that if they see this portion of it, or it goes in the paper, they can ask any further question in legal. And I just want to make sure they understand. If any parish employee goes on private property and they cut it, it's an automatic fire. They fire. And so it's not that they don't want to do it. They just cannot do it. So I just wanted that public to go to. And that is my little story on grass cut. Mr. Reports, Mr. Thomas Pierce.
I think we covered everything, but just one little minor item. I let y'all, I gave y'all a copy of the sign that we're gonna put at DPW facility on Tebow Drive. And if you've got any problems with that, speak up now.
I just want to know when they gonna get up there, Mr. Pierce.
I wanted to show you what you were gonna see, what you were gonna get first, and then I'll put a work order in to get it done. So it should, as soon as I put it in, whatever time it takes, 2-3 weeks or whatever. And that's all I have.
All right. Mr. Craig Anderson.
Well, we just about covered it all. We, like you said, we got a crew working on the box cover for the bridge. The 42-inch covers in, we gonna get scheduled to do, like Mr. Bill said. And we keeping up with the grass cover so far, right now. That's what it is. And we on Sortier ditch, what he brought up. We started from the back with the big long reaches, pulling the trees out to make that right away.
All right.
Yeah. So, that's what my crew is doing. Been doing the last month or so. Good.
I got one more question, and I guess I'm having people asking me about the dirt on Bayou Lafourche. And can y'all address what's going on upcoming and what's going on with that issue right there?
Well, today I met with one of the guys from the water district, and he talked to the contractor, and the contractor and him supposed to be getting an agreement together where the contractor gonna move it, and he just needed a spot to put it. So I introduced him to a landowner that told him that, you know, they could put it there. So I left them two talking. I don't know how to do it, man.
Okay, so basically, and
You know, he said we still could get some, you know, if we need it, we could still haul ours, but they basically are trying to get it out there fast as they can, so.
right, but they have, freshwater district has the jurisdiction over where the dirt go at.
Yeah.
I just want the public to know that because, once again, they start seeing other stuff, they're gonna be making phone calls and saying, well, why he getting the dirt? Once again, we have no jurisdiction over that. That is the freshwater district, that's their contractor, and they make those decisions. Mr. Pierce?
They can sign a whole harmless agreement and go out there and get the dirt, but they have to use their equipment and their equipment and their labor, and they can get the dirt that they want. And we're gonna try to get as much as we can to put by our bond to stockpile it, but the public can get it, but they have to come to the office here in Donaldsonville and sign a whole harmless agreement.
So they have to load it themselves?
They have to load it themselves, everything is on them. And they have to hold us harmless of any liabilities for Ascension Parish. And to get nitpicky, a gentleman called me the other day and he wanted to get a bucket of dirt, and I told him to come sign a full harmless agreement. And he said, for a bucket of dirt? I said, hey, that's the rules. You know? So if you're gonna get one to sign it, everybody's gonna sign it. Go get your dirt. I even told him, look, later on you might need more than a bucket. You wanna come back here, at least you got your whole homeless agreement signed.
All right. I don't think we miss any other thing. Mr. Dawson, do you have anything?
The financials, Peggy, I didn't see them. I didn't see any of the financials or anything. No, okay.
All right. You don't have anything else?
Date and time, what is that?
That's it. Number 12, date and time, Ms. Peggy. All right.
Move to adjourn.
I second. Meeting adjourned.